Alrighty then, good afternoon. My name is Jim Knapp. I'm the trade specialist here at Coolfront, and I'm going to do a little introduction on the new search engine. And this is what it looks like. When you first see this, you'll be offered the use of the new search engine. You just have to click OK to get there. And it's not mutually exclusive. The new search engine will only be available when you're connected to the web, whereas the old search engine you could use down in a basement. If you lost signal, it still was in there. During this beta testing, it's going to stay online only, and then in the future we'll make it accessible no matter what circumstances. Feel free to switch back and forth between the new and the old. That's what this button here is. Even on the same work order, you can switch back if you don't find something and use the old search engine that you're familiar with, and then switch back again if you'd like to. So this is the search window. If you were to go back on the browser, that would take you right out of it and back to Google or whichever browser you're using. This arrow on the left here takes you back to the work order. If you've typed something in there and want to enter something new, this little X here on the right-hand side of the window is what you're after. And when you want the search engine to search, of course, you use the little magnifying glass. All the favorites and company favorites and custom repairs that are in your old mobile device and in the Coolfront app have been carried over to this new search window, so you'll see they're all there. If you've chosen favorites for yourself or if your company has them, and of course the custom repairs that the administrator makes are all there available to you in either one of the search engines. And at the bottom of the page is the ad hoc custom repair that was just the same as the old one. Excuse me. That you can make a repair on the fly because it isn't available in our system. Alrighty, so there you see that's been entered on the invoice. Okay, so you've got the ability to switch back and forth between the two search engines. There is a feedback bar here. It's a fairly easy form. All you have to do is let us know what feedback you have. If you'd like an answer or a reply from us, you can put your email address in there and then just hit submit. It's that easy. We thrive on the feedback that you give us about stuff to try and make Coolfront a better product. Alrighty, so let's there's no trades. I know we're all used to in the old search engine having to choose between trades. What we've done is taken out the duplicate repairs. So at this point now there's no need for the trades. So you can just feel free to start searching at will. So let's start with a part number. All right, and that shows us a carrier igniter. If you would like to have the repair time show up in your searching, just click on the show time and the repair time, and you'll see a little bit later that it'll show up for each one of the repairs that are returned. This is an exact return because it's an exact part number. And another way for us with the new search engine to get to that would be to start with a generic description, HSI or hot surface igniter, and you see all the times are here on the right hand side because I clicked that show time button. All right, so over on the right, we get a bunch of faceted results that we can look at. In this case, we're looking for a hot surface igniter from Carrier. And there's that very same igniter, just found a different way. In some instances, I know in the past that the old search engine, we told people to use as many descriptors as possible. With this search engine, more often than not, it's better to start with a simple concept like HSI, and then use this faceting on the right-hand side to drill down to the part we were looking for. So in this case, we could try and find a hot surface igniter for a gas dryer or for a specific ignition module, or if we went to manufacturer. And this is also where if you were just trying to do a generic repair, you really didn't care who made the hot surface igniter, you could click on this generic. It's treated as if it were a manufacturer, but these are where all the universal repairs are. And you see we have a hot surface igniter universal. So let's click on that. That opens up the repair for us. We can see the description here, the time that's put into the call for that igniter. And I could make that one of my favorites if I wanted to by clicking on the heart, add to company favorites or add to your favorites. And then if this was the one I was after, if I didn't, well, let's start with the idea that this isn't the right one, then we can go back and look at one of these other ones. Okay, this one's a silicon carbide, that's the one I want. And add to work order. And you see it shows up on the work order just like we're used to with most of our repairs. Alrighty, so for each page, because we know we can go beyond just what we were looking for, let me start with this HSI. We get 15 results on the page itself. Now in this case we know that there are 65 returns for my search. So the way to get to the other 50 repairs would be to use the searching on the right hand side here. Okay, but every return that comes back to you is going to have a list of, assuming that there is 15 hits, you'll get 15 of them in the left-hand side there, and then the rest of them should be available to you through the faceted searching here. All right, so if we were looking for a contactor, you could search, the most common searches probably are for either for the amperage of the contactor or for the poles of the contactor. So in this case, we could look for a 30 amp contactor, and you see it gets added up here as part of the search criteria. If you change your mind and don't think that's what you're after, you can just treat it like a word processor and backspace back to contactor, do the search again, and it'll get you right back where you started there. If you wanted to search for something else entirely, you would just hit the little X and that would clear the screen for you. So we're searching for a contactor, and it would help if I could type better. All right, so we could search by manufacturer. You see there's a lot of the manufacturers that we all know and love. There's also, don't forget, the generic or universal repairs are in here. There's a warranty contactor. Normally, if you're looking for a warranty repair, it's going to be underneath this property facet. So there it is there. And we should come up with some warranty repairs that involve contactors. All right, so some of these some of these choices here won't get you very far. Tonnage wouldn't really help when you're looking for a contactor, but pole certainly would. So if we're looking for a 2-pole contactor, you see it's added to the description here. And then, of course, we have a whole bunch of 30 amp. Oh, I didn't look for 30 amps. A whole bunch of 2-pole contactors. At this point, if you wanted, there's 31 results here. So if you wanted to narrow it down some more, you could hit amperage and then hit 30 amps. And that should limit the field. See, we're down to 13 results here. That would limit the field of responses to what you're looking for. And you could choose amongst those. Again, you just hover over whatever repair it is you're looking for. See, this one's already a favorite. And it'll give you a description, the time allotted for it. If you're an administrator, it would also give you the cost of the part. And you can add it to the work order at this time, or you can go back and look further if that's not the one you're after. There it is there. Alrighty. So if I were to search for capacitor, that's a pretty broad search. So down at the bottom of the page, and I think this is going to get moved up to the top of the page, but it's kind of, the search engine is telling me that that's probably not enough information for it. So we've got some related searches. In this case, we could click on a dual capacitor, and you see it changes up here in the window for us. And you could click on manufacturer if you wanted to and see what Goodman capacitors are available. You could click on microfarads if you knew it was a 40. And there's a Goodman 40 and 5 microfarad capacitor. And there's one at 440 volts. And you can see every time we've clicked on the faceting over on the right-hand side, it's added it to this search window here. All right, so keep in mind when you do search for something, to take a look down at the bottom, it's going to ask you, you have an opportunity to add more detail to your search here, to do a custom repair, or if there's a related search, it will show up down here as well. The system does try to correct spelling. So if I were to misspell, you can see that even though I put in the wrong spelling here, it's telling me that it searched for motor instead. Alrighty, for those of you that are using the premium capacitors, you can try that as a descriptor and narrow your search down that way. It should come up. No. You see here where it's trying to correct problems that it thinks exist. In this case, it's a problem that doesn't exist, but the system thinks that. You can search for American-made capacitor, and then we get these premium capacitors that seem to be pretty popular right now. All right. There's a backwards way to get to things. Pretty much any attribute that's in the repair can help you get to the search. So right now, our search engine is in its infancy. That's why it's out in beta now, and we're leaving the 2 search engines intact. So it will be learning on a daily basis how better to answer your questions. So if you're having trouble finding something, try and think of a different attribute that would get you to where you're going. In this case, we're looking for a thermocouple that we want to install, and we're already there on a cleaning. So if I search for during, because I want to change the thermocouple during the cleaning. Okay, so there it is, thermocouple during boiler maintenance inspection. Thermocouple during inspection. So the thing that the system picked up on was the fact that it was an additional repair. I think on your dashboard for the webinar, there should be a button there that says handouts. There's 2 PDF files in there that are commonly used terms in our system. And I think you should be able to download them if you want to see them. Give me 1 second here, and I will call one up. Okay. So there's a little chart of terms that we use in repairs that can also be search devices for you. Additional is a common one, or custom, deluxe, and standard. And those should be downloadable from your dashboard for the webinar. Alrighty. Another one would be if you had a very difficult repair. This is a funny one because there's a million returns. If I search for difficult, I've got 305 returns. And then you can look over here to match the thing. Let's say it was a faucet installation. And you can see these are faucet installations that involve some extra difficulty, so we've got more labor time in them. So just keep in mind, if you can't find it with your first thought, try and find a different attribute of the repair that you can search for, and then use the faceting on the right-hand side to zero in on what you're after. So let's go with faucet again. Alrighty. And then if we click on some of the most important terms here are property, part type, and manufacturer. So these are properties of the faucet. Is it Americans with Disability Act approved faucet that you're looking for? Is it a shower faucet? That sort of thing. Those are the properties. The manufacturer, of course, you know pretty clearly. The handle might be a possibility. You're looking for a one-handle faucet. It goes back up in the search terms here, and then the system comes back with one-handle faucets for us. Okay, another thing I should have mentioned in the property, that's where we hide the warranty stuff. Let me go back to motor. And if I look under property, I don't have it. Okay. That's where the warranty stuff is. So then it brings back for me a warranty belt drive blower motor with just the labor attached, or a warranty direct drive blower motor with just the labor attached. And then again, you just hit add to work order if that's the one you're after. So we've got a SCAD of warranty repairs in the system. The other way you can do it is simply search for warranty blower motor. That's certainly worth a try. And there's the same 2 repairs again. Alrighty. So if I were going to install a single pole breaker, it would give me, see there's only 12 results here, so you really don't need to look any further to see more of it because we would normally get 15 back. So pretty much this is the choice, these are the choices that you have. Now, a lot of times when you're doing more than one of the same repair, you want to charge less for the second one. And those are in there also. So there's an additional single pole breaker, 15 through 50 amps. And you can see there's not a lot of time in there because the time has already been added in on the very first breaker that we ran into there. So additional is a big search device if you're doing something like that. Same thing with electrical outlets. There's an additional decorative or an additional duplex. Alrighty, we do have one of the biggest repairs in our system on a daily basis is for refrigerants, and we've got a little bit of a bug in the refrigerant search that we're working on now. It should be fixed in a few days. So there's two ways you can go about that. If you went back to the original search engine, of course you can do it that way, and it's just like what you're used to with the first pound, each additional pound, and then if you prefer to do it the other way, there's all the pound by pound repairs. If you'd like to stay in the new system and play around with that, one way to do it is to type in per pound and then select the refrigerant you're looking for, and you'll get the first pound and each additional pound that way. So you kind of have to come at it backwards in order to get there. If I just type in R410A, I believe it gives me a bunch of evaporator coils. Yeah. So bear with us while we work out some of these little bugs. This is probably the biggest one we've run into so far, and we will get that fixed shortly. The last thing I wanted to mention today is if you don't find what you're looking for, this is just a made-up part number, you'll see it says, sorry, no matching repairs or parts. You can hit this, tell us what we missed, and again, it's an incredibly short form, and this will help us get stuff in there. If you think it's an important repair that you do on a regular basis, then by all means, let us know that you tried to find it and you couldn't. So all you have to do is type in whatever it is you were looking for or a description of what you were looking for, and then if you'd like a reply from us, put in your email. If you just want to put that in and submit it, that's fine too. We just won't have an opportunity to get back to you about it. You can see here it says your response has been recorded. And the more feedback we get from you, the better we can make the search engine. Again, please bear with us. It's in its infancy, and on a daily basis we will be making corrections and making connections between descriptions of repairs so that over the course of the next few months it'll just get better and better. I want to thank you today for your time, and if you have any questions about today's webinar, please give us a call or send us an email and let us know what your question is. We'll do our best to answer it.